Hey, this is Sandy. Welcome to our wee Tennessee homestead. So I am back in the kitchen, and Tim and I have worked on pickled watermelon rind this afternoon. Tim got it started for me, got all of the rind prepared, cut up in little chunks, soaked in the pickling lime, and we had to go down, didn't have the lemon and the ginger that we needed. So we're working in, and ignore the mess of my kitchen because it just looks like this all the time. So there's just, anyway, we're working on a recipe from Pickles to Relish cookbook. And it is a pickled watermelon rind recipe. And it is copywritten, but so if you have a watermelon, sorry about that, this selfie stick does not stay in place. You take your watermelon rind after you cut the watermelon, the red part out. You leave a little bit of the firm red on the outside. You peel the green part off, so you've got the white part and a little bit of the red. Cut it up in 1-inch chunks. You're going to soak 4 quarts of prepared rind with 3 tablespoons of pickling lime and 2 quarts of cold water for 2 hours. So if you have more rind than that, you would just increase the amounts. Once it's soaked for 2 hours, you're going to drain it and you're going to rinse it 3 times. You're wanting to get all of that excess pickling lime off of it. So then you're going to start to prepare the brine. And the brine, I'm just going to read this to you. You're going to mix. Then excuse me. After the rind has been, you have washed it and rinsed it 3 times and drained it. Then you're going to cook it in water for about an hour, and then drain it again. So then while that's cooking, you're going to mix up 8 cups of sugar. I know that's a lot of sugar. They say to use a spice bag. You're going to put 5 cinnamon sticks and 2 tablespoons of whole clove in a spice bag. You can use cheesecloth or whatever. You don't have to put it in a bag. It's just easier to get the cloves out. Now, we did not use 2 tablespoons of cloves. We're not real big clove people. We did throw a little bit in, but probably a teaspoon. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger. You're gonna grate or chop up fresh ginger, 2 tablespoons. Or it says you can use 5 pieces of minced candied ginger. 1 lemon sliced very thin. Guys, make sure you wash your lemon really good. You're not peeling it, you're putting the whole lemon in. So you're gonna wash your lemon really good, and then you're gonna slice it really thin. 1 quart of vinegar and 1 quart of water. You're going to mix all those things together. The sugar, the spice bag, the ginger, the lemon, the vinegar, and the water. You're going to cook that for 10 minutes. So once it comes up to a boil, you're going to cook it for 10 minutes. Okay? Then you're going to add the watermelon rind. Okay? Your watermelon rind should have gotten, you cooked your watermelon rind for an hour so that it's tender. So then you're going to add that watermelon rind to the pot that's got your vinegar, water, sugar, herb solution. Okay, you're going to cook it until it's clear. So you're going to cook it till the watermelon itself is clear. And I apologize. I'm having to use a different phone for this, and it does not, I can't like pause it and flip the screen. For some reason this phone's not letting me do that. So I'm just going to kind of do this right here. So this is cooking. Oh, I was supposed to remove the spice bag. We didn't use a spice bag. We threw everything in, so there's just a few cloves floating around in there. So we're cooking until these are clear. I'm going to go ahead and stir it again. It's going to take a little bit, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure. Neither one of us have done this recipe before. We've never made pickled watermelon rind, so you are the first to see us do it. And so you can see the lemon floating in there. The lemon's going to break up, but anyway, I think it's going to take a little bit more time. I'm figuring that it might take... Hey, there's one of those cinnamon sticks I couldn't find before. I'm figuring that it's probably going to take a good 20 or so minutes for this. So what I'll do is I'm going to pause the video. I will come back. Once these are done, I'm going to put them in clean jars that I've washed in hot soapy water. I'm going to process these. The book says these are processed with a rolling water bath. I'll do an acidity check with half and half vinegar there. The pH should be good, but I'll do an acidity test to make sure that that the pH is under 4.2. But hot rolling water bath. Half pints are processed at 10 minutes. Pints are processed at 15 minutes, and you adjust for your altitude. So if you were at a higher altitude, you would go to the charts when you're canning, especially if you're in an area where you're at a higher altitude. You want to always use those charts that tell you how to adjust for your altitude, and it'll give you a range for however many thousand feet you are above sea level. We're at about 16 or 1700 feet above sea level, so I'll be adjusting this a little bit. I'll probably be doing, I'll have to check the chart. I'll check the chart and tell you how many minutes. But anyway, so I'll be back to you when this is done and ready to go in jars. Okay, so the watermelon finished boiling in the brine. I guess, I don't know if brine is the right word. It's a sweet mixture. So let me show you. There's that, and I am filling jars. So I will be back once my jars get finished, and then I'm going to water bath them for 15 minutes, plus I need to check altitude. So I'll be back once all of that's done. Thanks. Okay, so I have my jars filled. I've topped them off with the pickling syrup, I guess you'd call it. I'm getting ready to test my pH. I normally wouldn't go ahead and do this because I already know that the pH is low enough with all the vinegar and stuff, but I wanted to show you a way that you can check your foods that you're water bath canning rather than pressure canning to make sure that your foods are going to be safe. So if you're going to water bath can anything, it needs to have a pH of 4.6 or lower. Lower than that is better. What some people don't realize, even if they're canning like tomatoes, different tomatoes have different levels of acidity. Like the yellow tomatoes have a lower acidity than the red tomatoes. So a new friend of ours that we met this year that runs a Facebook group on subsistence gardening showed us his pH meter when he was showing us some things, teaching us some things. I want to give a shout out to Michael from the Subsistence Gardening Facebook group. A wealth of knowledge. He's been such a blessing to us. But anyway, he's the one that taught me about checking pH and making sure that our foods are safe when we're water bath canning. So this is a pH meter. So what you do is I'm not sure how my lighting's going to be. Let's see if I can get some better lighting. So right now it just came up at a 5.4. I'm sticking it in. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's 3.8 in my solution here. So let me go ahead and rinse this off because that's really sticky with sugar. And my water pH is like 7. So my pH is under 4. I'm good. Should be, but I just wanted to show that to you. Those meters are available on Amazon. I'm sure they're available other places. The one I got was by Hannah Instruments. And it was on the lower price range. They go really high, hundreds of dollars. This one was much less than that. But it's not something you're going to get for $10 either. I mean, it's a very sensitive instrument. So, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the jars on these, get them water bathed, and I'll be back. Okay, so the jar's finished with their water bath. I had to adjust for altitude by adding 5 minutes because we are between 1,000 and 2,000 foot elevation. One thing I didn't say before is that when you are putting your food in your jars, when you're putting your food in your jars, make sure that before you put your lids and your rings on, you want to get a paper towel or a cloth with some vinegar on it and wipe around the top of the jar and the threads to make sure that there's nothing on there that's going to prevent it from sealing. That's especially important with something like this, because this had a really thick sugary syrup, pickling syrup, and if any of that sticky syrup stayed on there, it could prevent it from sealing. The other thing is that you want to make sure when you put your jars in your water bath canner, if you've never done water bath canning before, you're going to fill that canner up to where the water is at least an inch, preferably 2 inches above the level of your jars, so that while it's boiling, it doesn't boil the water down. The water has to stay above the level of the jars for it to seal properly. So I'm going to let you see my jars. And so I've got 8 pints of pickled watermelon rind. They look really pretty. Unfortunately, the lighting in here sucks. But you can see on that one there where I had the cinnamon stick I added in. I had 6 cinnamon sticks that had been in with the solution before I added the watermelon rind. So I just went ahead and added each of those sticks into a jar. And so that's it. I do want... Hubby got up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to shine a light for me. So it is 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to get off of here and jump into the bed. But so that is our pickled watermelon rind. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share with a friend. If you could help us get to 50 subscribers, that would be great, because then I could do lives, and I think I'd be a little bit better doing those that don't have to be edited. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this. Maybe you've learned something, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.